Lawns, what are they good for? Grass is incredibly useful stuff. It's food if you're a cow, or a sheep, or a goat, or a number of other things. But somehow, I really don't think that's what the university had in mind when they put together this vast expanse of lawn. Nor do I think it's what the average homeowner had in mind when they put together their patch of lawn in the front and patch of lawn in the back. You could prove me wrong. Comment below if you happen to have a goat in the backyard. If you were to treat your lawn as a painting and try to create a landscape like the one behind me, then that's one thing. However, for the vast majority of Americans, the lawn serves only one purpose. And while that purpose is associated with appearances, it has less to do with a personalized painting in your backyard and far more to do with keeping up with the Joneses. In the modern day and era, a lawn like this can be taken care of by tractors, usually a team of them going along with giant lawnmower blades that extend out like wings. But if you go back way further to the classical English manor house with long sweeping lawns, the village green, these were maintained by hand. And therefore, if you had a large patch of grass on the side of your country manor, it was a symbol of wealth. Because in order to maintain a lawn of this size, you had to have the manpower to maintain it with scythes, swishing along by hand. It was a sign of wealth, and it still is. The modern home with its lawns is a projection of status and wealth. It is nothing more or less than conspicuous consumption, in most cases. Think about it. As you walk through a neighborhood, you can tell if it's a good neighborhood or a bad neighborhood by looking at the lawns. Weedy lawns imply perhaps that it's a rental or that it's a bad neighborhood. If the lawns are all perfectly green and mowed, then there's a certain amount of status and also conspicuous spending associated with it. This grass has to be cut every single week. It has to be fertilized several times a year, approximately monthly. And then watering has to happen almost every single day. As we are in the Western United States, water is a very large issue. But what are they good for besides beauty? The lawn behind me might be a great place for a picnic. Somehow, I can't really see this particular piece of lawn being used for a picnic. So what purpose does this grass serve? Well, it's pretty. It is a decoration of the parking lot. It takes a little green space, so you have a little island of green in the sea of asphalt. However, there is an irony here, because although this is green to the eye, it is not green to the environment. Lawn grass actually uses more water than any domestic crop grown in the United States. American lawns occupy 30 to 40 million acres of land, which could be put to other uses. The lawnmowers that maintain those 40 million acres of land account for about 5% of the nation's air pollution. In addition to that, homeowners tend to use 10 times more fertilizer and pesticide than is necessary for their lawns, and that ends up in the water supply downstream. And it gets even better. When you go to fill your gas tank in your lawnmower, you spill just a little bit. Now, if you add up all the lawnmowers that are mowing all those lawns across those 40 million acres, you get to a statistic that is approximately 17 million gallons of fuel spilled every single year. That is more oil than the Exxon Valdez spilled into the ocean every year. So in a nutshell, lawns aren't actually green. They are pretty, but they're not green. So for this cost, what is the value? What is the thing gained? Is it worth it? And could you get something better for the same price? If you want to keep a lawn, by all means, go ahead and do so. But be aware of why. Alternately, and here's the real scary idea, if you want to get more out of your yard, let's say that you have the average suburban sized yard, which is around 1/4 of an acre. On that amount of land, you could provide a ridiculous amount of food or wildlife habitat with the exact same amount of effort that you're probably currently putting into your lawn. If you were to dig up all the green space that's in the front yard, which you're never going to have a picnic on, and you're never going to play baseball on, and you're never going to do soccer on, and really that's just there to show off wealth and status, if you were to convert that over into a garden and grow vegetables, you could take a major chunk out of your grocery bill, eat closer to home, have a better hobby, and frankly, enjoy a lot more variety than all this green stuff.
I'm sorry, I can't laugh, can I?